All right. That's everyone. Let's get started. You know, guys, it's great to see you here. I look out the window. We're at what the kids call sea level. And the last time I got to speak to you guys, we were in Chicago, formerly at a building called the Sears Tower on the 100th-something floor, so high that Yoel Romero had to be brought in via satellite. Turns out, big guy's scared of heights. I'm kind of with Yoel on this one, and I think that Danny Brenner deserves some credit here for getting us such a beautiful view. Guys, it's great to see you. Scott Coker has honored me with the opportunity to be part of Bellator's 300th event. And I must tell you, I don't know of another organization that has made it to 300. I've been racking my brain on that one. What a number. And that's just for the ones that we numbered. And you can tell by this stage, we have broken out the star power tonight. Schmo, I see you over there. When we kicked this thing off, we were at a press conference. We had everybody here, but I looked right at you and I told you I had my first ever argument with Scott Coker. We argued before we got out here because he was declaring the 155-pound tournament the hardest 155-pound tournament ever, and I argued that it was the hardest tournament ever in MMA. And with the fact that Benson Henderson, one of the great fighters of all time and a future Hall of Famer for two different organizations, has already been eliminated. Schmo, I think I won that argument with Scott Coker. What do you think? Yeah, I think so. All right. And now that we've gotten history behind us, let's get down to current events, guys. This is all going down Saturday, 10 o'clock Eastern, only on Showtime. And Scott Coker, if I may start with you, what is it like to be at your 300th event?
Testing. I'm not sure if this works. Thank you, Chael. Testing. Sorry. Anyway, listen, it's a big milestone for the company. It's a big milestone for myself as a. It's a big milestone for myself as a promoter. I mean, when I came to Bellator, I was recruited by a gentleman by the name of Kevin Kay, and honestly, you know, I came there because I felt really good about Kevin, his contributions to MMA, and then some of my friends were trying to get me to come over, and I was a little bit hesitant, to be honest, and I thought about it for 2 or 3 months, and I said, okay, let's do this. When I made my mind made up, I said, let's go. But I think we were at Bellator 121 at that point, so we've come a long way. We've done a lot of great fights, a lot of big fights. We've taken this brand from I'd say a casino show, and it was a very small casino shows, to a big stadium show, from something that was traveling around the United States to something that went worldwide. We've done a lot of great work. We have a great team, and really proud of my team and proud of the fighters that we brought on board. We built a roster unlike anybody else, I think, in MMA. And what I mean by that is, not since Pride have you heard the notion of, hey, are these fighters better than the UFC fighters? Is Nemkov better than the 205-pounder over there? Is Johnny Evelyn better than the 185-pounder? I mean, those are the types of conversations that are happening today. So, you know, we've built the brand, we've built the fighters, we've built this company from the ground up. Super proud of everybody here, and I look forward to some great fights. It's the first time in the history of this company we've had 3 title fights in one night. We were supposed to have 4, but you know, injuries happen in this sport, and that's just the way the ball bounced for Linton Vassell and Ryan this time. But we look forward to getting him back in as soon as possible. But I wish all the competitors here good luck. It's going to be an amazing night on Saturday, and let's go celebrate, you know, the milestone of Bellator 300. Thank you.
All right, anybody that's planning to be in San Diego and would like to join us, by the way, tickets at Bellator.com or, of course, at Axis.com. And as of 20 minutes ago, we still had tickets. That'll be my disclaimer to tell you to hurry. Athletes, I believe that our microphones have been fixed, but I'm going to ask some questions, and if they aren't, please just come up to this one. I'll step aside. But I would love to start with Kat Zingano. Kat, I was at the Mohegan Sun when you made your Bellator debut. I heard Josh Thompson and Big John tell the world that you were the one that was being brought over, and they didn't know if it was going to be 1 win, 3 wins, or 5 wins, but you and Chris Cyborg were eventually going to get into the cage. It turns out Big John and Josh had it right. You've known this was coming. If we've known this was coming. Girl, how do you feel?
I feel good. It feels like my life's work to get up to another title fight. We've heard about this fight a few different times over time, so it's nice that it's actually finally here.
All right, and Chris Cyborg, I would love to ask you, because one thing that is so impressive about you as a viewer of this sport, or even a former athlete of the sport, is your ability to stay motivated. I notice you don't just wait to get called out. If somebody doesn't do it quick enough, you go and pick the fight yourself. If that doesn't happen quick enough, you go over and box somebody just to stay active. What is it like to know Kat Zingano has been there before? You guys have a common opponent. She's the one that many people say is going to be the toughest challenge.
And I want to say thank you for everyone here. I feel very blessed, very thankful to be here in the Bellator 300. Kat Zingano, I always saying she's a great opponent, great name in the sport. I never choose my opponent. Of course, I want to be active. I want to be training and getting better, improving my game. And she's going to be a great fight. She's a big name, and I really respect her. And that's it.
Ilima-Lei Macfarlane, the former champion, you're going to be taking on somebody you look up to, a former teammate. When I see you and your opponent together, it's usually on Instagram. Somebody's put out a video. You guys are both sweating. The workout ended. I'm told it's what brought you both to San Diego to train in the first place. You knew that this was coming. You knew that you guys got it right. You trained, you prepared each other correctly. You picked the right gym, you picked the right coaches, and it's come down to you two, Ilima-Lei. How do you feel taking on your former teammate? And do I have that right? It could be current teammate.
I would consider it former. Yeah, there's no love lost between us. We're ready to punch each other in the face. We've been talking mad shit to each other all fight camp. So yeah, and then afterwards, we're gonna, well, we didn't decide this, but winner takes the other one to dinner, okay? After the fight.
All right, Liz, I got to tell you, back when I was in college, the coach used to grab me, and he'd throw down a few $20 bills. This is back in the 90s, $60 to get you out for the night. And I would be the one to take the recruits out. I'd show them around campus, try to talk them into coming here. I didn't recruit anybody to Bellator except you. You were the only one. I just wanted you to know that. When you were coming out and you were looking around, I grabbed you and I was telling you these wonderful things. You were the only one. That wasn't just a conversation that we always have. And now here you are. You've got the belt in front of you. You've got your former teammate sitting across the desk. Is there anything that you'd like to tell us about those training sessions or what's going to happen this Saturday?
Yeah, I can say that in those training sessions, I think everybody keeps asking how it's going to work fighting a friend. And, you can still say they were friends, but the hardest training sessions that we ever had, the most damage that was done in the gym was to each other. So I can say with confidence we can go on there and put out a great show for everybody because nobody's hurt me more and I haven't hurt anybody more than Ilima and myself. So I think it'll be a great show on Saturday night.
All right, now I want to go over to Brent Primus. You went from alternate to semifinalist. You are now 25 minutes or less away from regaining your world championship and returning to a main event fighting for the Grand Prix championship, Brent. What a difference a day makes. How do you feel about your opponent, Mr. Nurmagomedov?
I feel great. I know he's a tough opponent, and I prepared really well for this fight, and I'm ready for anything, and I'm going to shock everybody, and he's going to be 17-1 after Saturday.
All right, guys, now what do you give a guy that's got everything? He's charming, he's handsome, his family name is etched right underneath the Gracies, he's got a perfect record, he's got a world championship. What do you do? What do you do to get a guy like that motivated? Well, the answer is you put something up that he hasn't yet done, which is a Grand Prix championship. And Usman, I ask you that, and I tee it up that way, because what is more important to you, the Grand Prix or defending your belt?
For me, it's like more important won every my fight. It's not like Grand Prix or defend my title. For me, it's not lose, but I not believe this guy can beat me. He say he gonna be pushed, but why he don't push himself when he was fight with Shapley? What happened?
Brent, that sounded like a question, actually. What did happen there? Usman would like to know. It seemed like a reasonable question.
Things happen to MMA. I got caught. I didn't really have the best camp and everything, but I felt like that really wasn't me fighting. I like I said, I had a kind of weird, different camp, and I've changed things, and I had an awesome camp this time, and I promise you'll see a different Brent out there for sure.
All right, guys, we're going to throw the questions to you, but before we do, Ilima-Lei, I am a little bit confused. I heard terms like trash talk, I heard terms like former opponent, but I also heard a term like we're going to dinner afterwards. Where are you at with your former teammate from an emotional standpoint?
I think the trash talk was mainly us like sending food videos to each other to try to sabotage the weight cut. And when I think of going to dinner afterwards, I really just want to go to Fogo de Show. That was like our tradition after fights before. But no, in all seriousness, like, you know, Liz was the one that got me started in the sport. I have so much respect and love for her. But like she said, we're going to punch each other in the face. We're going to hurt each other. And we'll actually get paid for it this time. So that's nice.
I'm glad we cleared that up. All right, first question. Out to you guys.
If you have a question, please raise your hand and we'll bring a microphone to you.
Hi, this question is for Usman. Hi, this question is for Usman. So Cain Velasquez has been coaching you for this fight. What do you enjoy the most about Cain coaching you, and what do you miss the most about Habib coaching you?
You know, this is different when Habib is, it's like, you feel like mountain behind you. This is different. I cannot like put this is, but I'm so glad to see Cain to my corner, like a coach. You know, all my this camp, he was like give me great advice all the time, and we'll see.
This question is for Scott Coker. How much effort was put into finding a replacement fight for Ryan Bader, or was there just not enough time?
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you talk about quality fight at a world championship heavyweight division title fight, it's very hard to find a replacement overnight. And so, you know, we talked about it internally. I know our fight team got a bunch of calls, but, you know, it has to be somebody that has to be worthy of having that slot. And so traditionally, we try to make sure that the integrity of the fight stays at a very high level, and we didn't think we could do it this time with this fight because, you know, even if it was this fight or that fight, they have what, 5 days to prepare, go get medicals, fly down here. It was just very difficult. So we made some calls, but it just didn't work out this time.
Thank you.
Hey, how's it going, Chris? This question is for Chris Cyborg.
How are you?
Good. I just got a question. With Bellator traveling everywhere, what would it take for you to get Bellator to actually travel to Brazil so you can fight in your hometown?
Yes, this is gonna be the dream come true. You know, I love fighting Brazil, and that was the first thing I talked to Bellator and the Scott Coker when I signed the Bellator. This is one of my dreams: bring Bellator to Brazil. Have a lot of Brazilian fighters, very good champions, and yes, this is the dream.
Got it. Now I hear you.
Got one more question. This one's going to be for the champ, Usman. Salam alaikum, brother.
Alaikum.
Yeah, I always try to get it right. Sometimes I mess it up, though. But yeah, I just got a question for you. So we're going to be having one of the biggest matchups taking place against United States Jiu-Jitsu and Dagestani wrestling. Which one's more dangerous and which one's going to be superior this Saturday night?
Of course, Dagestan wrestling is better, brother. What are you talking about?
В чем разница?
All right, over here. This question's for Chris Cyborg. Chris, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you, James?
Just want to know how camp went. I know you got to work with Dion Barbosa, who we saw get a really good opportunity in the UFC. How pivotal was she? I know she's a bit smaller, but how much did she help you for this camp?
You know, this camp, I did almost everything same, just change some partners. You know, usually use the partners who's depending on what opponent I'm going to be. But I brought my coach from Brazil, my first coach, all the suplex guy watching my fights the whole these years, he's teaching me. And I brought him, I felt my heart. And we did an amazing camp. Dione, I'm really happy for her in that next chapter of her career. And we've been together 2 years, so we learned a lot of each other. And I wish you the best for her. And we did an amazing camp, trained really hard, and prepared for Saturday.
Feels like this fight has been taking a while to get put together. It's been talked about for a couple of years now. Were you ever thinking this might not happen?
I don't know. I just think about what I can control, and the opponents are usually know who's the number contender number one, and there was she's nowhere at the moment, so I fight another girls, but now here I am, to the fight.
And same question for Kat. Did you think as the longer this was going on that maybe this wouldn't happen, you fighting Cyborg?
No, I felt like it was a matter of time one way or the other. There was, like I said, I think there's been 3 different times that we're, definitely talking about it. Even my fight against Megan Anderson was in case Amanda Nunes and Cyborg didn't work out, so I'd be ready to jump in that night, so it's, it's been a few different training camps getting ready for this one, and just knew it was a matter of time.
And you sort of talked about it there. The last title fight you had in the UFC, I know it was just a weird fight, everything that sort of went down. But does this kind of feel like redemption for you, getting to fight, especially on this historic card at Bellator 300?
Yeah, I mean, it's great to have worked myself back up to this place again. And, I've always believed in myself, definitely put in the work and the time. And so it's natural that it's here.
Just my last question. This is for Brent Primus. Brent, I was at your fight with Michael Chandler a couple of years ago in New York where you won the title. How does this fight week compare to then in New York? This is also a big card. That was the first New York card. This is Bellator 300. It's a stacked event. How does this fight week compare?
It's huge, after I beat him, I'm obviously the champion, but I'm going for that $1 million in the Grand Prix. So it's humongous for me and my family and life-changing, and I'm ready for sure.
I have a question for Alima. Good to see you. First off, I want to say God bless you. What you've done for Hawaii is just amazing, using your platform, all the money you've raised. First question I have for you, obviously, you and Liz go way back. A lot of it stems from the relationship with Manolo Hernandez, who is a legendary coach in San Diego, an epic fighting Hall of Famer. I'm going to ask Liz the same question, but what does Manolo mean to you, and what has he helped you do to get to this point where you are right now?
Well, besides Liz literally being the one that signed me up into the gym when I first stepped foot through those doors, Manolo was the first coach that I took any sort of MMA class from. He was really the reason why I kept going back. If anybody knows him, you know how inappropriate his sense of humor is and how hilarious he is, but he kept practice so much fun that I just kept going back, and he was the one that was like, you should do a fight. You should do another fight. Let's go pro. So he kept prodding me along. So honestly, if it weren't for that guy, I wouldn't be here today. He is going to be one of my corners. He'll probably be crying the whole time. So yeah, he's not going to be the mic'd up one though.
Yeah. One thing that he prides his legacy on is building stars from scratch. He built you and Liz from scratch, all the way at San Diego Combat Academy. Just how fulfilling is this moment for not just you and Manolo, but the whole team in general?
Yeah, I mean, we're a little podunk warehouse gym that is very, you would miss it if you were driving by it. And the only reason I knew about it was because I worked right around the corner from it and would just see it every day. So yeah, to be able to bring up 2 world champions who really walked in with no experience, little to no experience, that's a testament to that little gym. And yeah, that's kind of been our thing. Like, we're the little gym that could.
Absolutely. God bless you. And for you, Liz, just can you talk about your relationship with Manolo? Obviously, he cornered you in your fight against Ronda Rousey, the first ever female fight in UFC. I mean, you're a legitimate legend and pioneer of the sport. And same with Manolo, too. Can you just talk about him and your relationship with him?
Yeah, Manolo has played a crucial role in where I am today. When I first started the gym, I didn't really have the money to be able to pay for the gym membership, but he still took me under his wing. He taught me how to teach one-on-ones. He taught me how to teach classes, the fundamentals of martial arts. And when it really just came down to money, I didn't think that I could put it together and pay anymore. He was the one that went and talked to the owners and was able to work something out for me, who was there with all the fights. He's, like Liam was saying, he's the goofy guy in the background that's cracking those inappropriate jokes that you have no other choice but to laugh at. So he definitely taught me what it meant to be lighthearted. And then by him taking me under my wing, I understood the importance of doing the same for up-and-coming fighters like Alima and many of the other women that came through the gym.
Yeah, obviously you have history with Manolo, but in the present moment, you train at the arena with Coach Chuck Martinez and company. What has it been like to switch there and talk about that?
Yeah, initially it was really difficult. I was going through that hard road of not wanting to be disloyal to the gym that I was at, but it was coming at a cost to my own career. And I eventually realized that if I wanted to keep succeeding, I had to put myself first and think about my career and do what was going to benefit me most. And when I went into the arena, I was getting my butt kicked from day one and getting challenged, and that's what I needed. I needed to be pushed. I needed to be able to evolve and to grow. And with Coach Charles Martinez and Vince Salvador, they encourage in everybody to seek growth. Whether that means going to different seminars every weekend, seeking out different training partners, it's all about, like, there's no disloyalty if you find something that pushes you more. They encourage that. And that was exactly what I needed to be able to find success in Bellator and to be able to start this new chapter on a good foot.
Thank you so much. Also, a question for Kat Zingano. You train in San Diego as well. Can you talk about, what this means for the San Diego MMA community to have not one, not two, but three pioneers of the female MMA game that's trained in San Diego headlining this fight?
I think it's amazing. Part of the reason I moved to San Diego from Colorado was the saturation of amazing options here as far as training. I originally came out here for Alliance MMA with Dominic Cruz and Jeremy Stevens and Angela Hill, that group, and then the team isn't really Alliance isn't really like a huge team anymore, but that was a magnet to get me here. And once I got here, I realized you could throw a rock and find good jiu-jitsu, good wrestling, good whatever. And I ended up with a great recipe for me now. I outsource all of my training. I have Justin Flores for my judo and wrestling. I have John X. Alves for my stand-up, kickboxing, all of that. I have Randy Miller here. She's an Olympian medalist for wrestling. And strength and conditioning was top of the line D1 wrestler. Atos from my jiu-jitsu, and all of that came from very deliberate searching and trying a ton of places and landing on what was perfect for me.
Absolutely. And last question for the boss man, Scott Coker. San Diego, America's finest city. You haven't been here in a minute, but you've been here before. You had a big fight. I think it was Tito and Stephan Bonner back in the day, right? How much in your decision making did it go, okay, well, we're going to have it in San Diego because we have three stars here that are San Diego MMA fighters?
I think that having the local talent obviously is part of the equation, but also we thought about that was our first tentpole event, was the Tito Ortiz versus Stephan Bonner fight. It's the first time we had a big arena, first time we had the big stage, and changed the walkout, changed the whole program of the show. So we said, what better place than to go back to San Diego, and that's why we chose the venue, because this is where it all started. It was, I think, November of 14, and it's been a great ride since. And like I said, we have these amazing athletes here, so it just made a lot of sense.
Yeah. San Diego's an absolute hub for jiu-jitsu. There are some coaches that say it's the mecca of MMA. I'm not sure if you agree with that statement, but I do want to ask you, what do you think of the San Diego MMA community as a whole?
Yeah, even before MMA, I mean, I used to, there was a gentleman used to fight for me named Melchor Minor here, right? He was a kickboxer, and I'm sure he probably trained a lot of top MMA fighters in striking here, but some great kickboxing, great martial arts here, and great jiu-jitsu, great MMA. So, to me, it's something that, they should be proud of, because this is not an easy sport, as you know, right? It takes a lot to be successful. And to have so much talent in a small vicinity, close to LA, close to the Bay Area, and it was just, and it's beautiful here. I mean, the weather's unbelievable. So we're all happy to be here. It kind of reminds me of our fight that we did in Hawaii. So we're all gonna have a good time this week.
First question is for Brent. Brent, you are a massive underdog going into this fight, and I'm just curious what sort of motivation that serves for you. Do you feel like you're being overlooked? You're a former champion, so how does this sit with you, the way this fight is being viewed, generally speaking?
I like being the underdog. I feel like I do better when I'm the underdog. I don't like it when people are, oh, you're gonna win, you're gonna go out there and kill it. I like being the underdog. I've been the underdog a lot, and I've proven a lot of people wrong. So yeah, let's go, man. I'm gonna shock everybody, like I said, and this is exactly where I want to be.
Would it specifically mean a lot for you to beat somebody with the last name Nurmagomedov, given what that holds?
Yeah, of course. He's 17-0, and he comes from Khabib's camp and all those guys, and I know it's going to be a good, tough fight, and I'm ready, and the name just puts the extra little piece of cake on the win.
And then a question for Usman. Usman, the fact that you are so overwhelmingly favored, is it ever a challenge for you to stay focused, to make sure that you don't lose sight of the fact that you have a former champion in front of you?
when he said, like all the time, he will beat me, I don't understand. He really believe in this? Like, okay, but if you believe this is good. We're gonna be show you guys good fight. Because of for tango we need two guys, yeah? Or how I have to say this. Saturday night, I respect these guys. He former champion, and but Saturday night I'm gonna make him feel he's like slow and old. This is only thing what I have to say, guys. Sorry.
Next question is for Kat. Kat, right here. It's been, I believe, 8 years since your last title fight in the UFC, and you've talked about how it's meant to be that you're back at this point and you've worked so hard. But can you tell us a little bit about what your mindset was like going into that fight against Ronda Rousey versus what's different now going into this fight against Chris Cyborg?
My life was completely different. It was really a lot more survival going on at that time. And time's really the biggest benefit to things. And yeah, finding my rhythm again, just figuring out coaches, figuring out the new normal for me, and getting it dialed in.
What makes you a threat to Cyborg's title reign here?
Everything. Skill, all the different disciplines, the years of experience, my will, my grit, my speed, everything.
And for Chris, you fought the who's who throughout your entire career, so I'm just curious, where do you rank Kat amongst everyone you fought?
I always prepare for the worst. I always prepare for 5 rounds. All my career, I was defending my titles. And, Kat, I much respect. I put a lot of work, training, and I know she's a tough girl. I know she's have skills, and I prepare very well for her.
A question for you, Scott, pertaining to this fight. Kat and Chris, they've been legends of women's MMA for so long. So just as the promoter of this fight, how do you feel being able to give these ladies the opportunity to fight each other for a championship?
Yeah, and not only a championship fight, but also to be, part of Bellator 300. I mean, this is a very big event for our company, big milestone. And, we signed Kat to Bellator for this fight specifically. So, or, to test herself and see if she could continue to win and get to that point. And she did it. She proved herself. She's a great fighter. And we're expecting fireworks on Saturday.
And then question for, this question will be for Alimale and for Liz. I'll start with Alimale first. You guys have talked about how you have roughed each other up in the gym. I get that. But this is the actual fight. I can't imagine you guys have ever 100% thrown a punch to each other's face before, have you?
I feel like Liz has, because it hurts in practice. But, you're right. I'm not sure if we've ever gone super 100% before. So that's what makes it fun and exciting to look forward to. Just like really feeling each other's true power. And I do want to know, are we going to touch gloves? Because I know you don't like to touch gloves. Okay, cool. That's all.
She said yes. Liz, you've never hit Alimale full on before, correct?
No, I'd absolutely have to agree with her. We've certainly hit each other pretty close to going as hard as we can, but there's always holding back. It's not a fight when we're in the gym. And as much as you want to prepare the person as much as possible, the last thing you want to do is injure somebody in anticipation of a fight. You have to hold back, right? But of all the people, we've gone harder with each other than anyone else in there, unless they were bullying somebody, in which case I lost my temper.
Okay, so then let me frame this question differently, because I'm sure there's various ways to ask this, but in sports in general, teammates and friends competing against each other happens all the time. But there's a reason why it doesn't happen a lot in combat sports or in mixed martial arts. I mean, you look at the UFC, you've got Aljamain Sterling and Merab Dvalishvili currently, they won't fight each other, right? And the thing is, you're going in there with intent to hurt your opponent, and you guys are friends, though. So can you just speak about going into the fight with the intent to hurt somebody that you care about?
Maybe I'm a different kind of fighter, but I don't go into my fights purposely trying to hurt the other person. So it's really not a different mindset for me. The fact that I'm facing a friend and somebody I care about. Because yeah, I don't ever want to like hurt somebody. You know, this is our lives, these are our bodies and our health and everything. So yeah, it doesn't really change the mindset for me.
Liz?
Yeah, you know, it's definitely a different element. Like she said, we're not looking to maim people to take them out of their careers. That's the last thing we want to do, and it's nothing different here. The benefit we have is we know that we're going to throw down, and it's no malintent. There's no cheating that's going to go on. There's nothing. I can rest assured that there's not some sneaky stuff where she's fish hooking me in the mouth and all these other things. And I can't say that about other opponents. I've had experiences where they cheat from the first second of the fight to the very end. And that breeds resentment, and it breeds a whole different type of uncalculated attacks in the fight. Whereas when you can be smart, when you can do things the right way, you can go out there and demonstrate everything you have and put it on the best way possible.
Last question then for Scott. Scott, how do you feel about two friends fighting each other, and what do you expect from this?
You
fight?
know, I feel like it's all going to be friendly until the bell rings, and then I think they're going to go at it. Yeah, exactly. Once somebody gets punched in the face, it's all over. This is going to be on, and they'll be able to test themselves. I think that, you know, friendship is one thing, but, you know, this is a competitive fight at the highest level. This is a world championship fight, and I think it's going to be great.
And good for you for staying on that. We all wanted to know that. Good for you for asking them 3 questions. I'm still wondering, right? Because they're going to have dinner after they beat each other up. There's only going to be one that's champion. I'm with you on this. I'm still a little bit unclear.
What's up, guys? Dylan Napoleon, New England MMA. Brent Primus, I'll get started with you, man. Obviously, after you had lost that Chablis fight, it seemed like title contention was a little bit out of reach, right? Then you got the alternate call. Were there any adjustments to your mindset, your training, anything like that you made now that you're back in title contention?
Yeah, I changed up a little bit with my coaching staff and, you know, my training. But, man, this game is so mental and just as much as physical. And, you know, I feel like I'm in a better place mentally, and yeah, man, I'm ready. I'm blessed to be here, honored to be here. This is a humongous fight and humongous card. So, man, I'm just honored to be here for sure, and I'm gonna prove that I belong.
Thank you. And for Usman, you've had Cain Velasquez in your corner, like we talked about a little while ago. What does it mean to have him around these days, and what does his presence in your camp mean to you, and how has that influenced you to be better this fight?
This is, you know, this is very good for me because of Habib cannot, he don't have visa, he not coming, and someone like Cain, like, you know, this is like guy who make history, is very good, you know, like Cain is very good, like man, you know, and when he come to gym, like atmosphere all the time changes, you know. I feel I will be better when I will be in the cage. You know, we'll see. I proud to him. Как сказать? Я очень рад, что он будет у меня в углу. I'm very happy he will be my corner.
Thank you. And I want to ask one more to Alimale and Liz. This seems like a fight that both of you have always been so excited about, something that you've looked forward to. What outside of the championship, the title on the line, excites you about this fight?
Me first, sorry. Wait, what else excites me about this fight?
Yeah, outside of the title on the line, like what catches your eye or makes this a little bit more fun for you outside of the belt on the line?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's really, really cool that it's here in San Diego. I know I always said, like, yeah, I want to fight Liz in Hawaii, like, Hawaii, but no, it's San Diego is where our career started. In fact, 10 years ago, at the Pechanga Arena, it was known as the Valley Center Arena or Valley View, something like that. But I watched my first ever live MMA fight 10 years ago, and it was Bellator 131. And so just to be able to fight here in San Diego against my former teammate, who we both trained out of San Diego, you know, we're names here. that is super cool and super full circle moment. So I think just that detail alone makes this a really, really awesome fight outside of the belt. You know, even if it wasn't for the belt, this would be a really, really cool fight. And of course, bragging rights afterwards. You know, whoever takes this to dinner or whatever, whoever has the belt will put it on the table and get to talk shit. So yeah.
We'll take one or two more. Back.
Hi, this one's for Cyborg. So, 2 of your last 3 fights have been rematches. It seems like you're fighting all the same girls recently. Does it excite you and make you more motivated to fight a new opponent?
You know, my first fight with Arlene Blanco was totally different to the last one. It was a great, great, great fight. I was just to watch it this weekend. I think, you know, who prepared, contender number 1, you get a win, you get a defense for the title. If we're going to repeat, it's okay. She's ready, she's been training, she's getting winning. I just have to keep improving my game and train. Rematch is not easy. You know, you have to improve your game better and better.
Most definitely. So this one's for Brent. So Brent, your last fight against Mansour was very back and forth battle. You had to grind out until the final bell and win that fight. Do you feel like this fight's going to be similar, or do you feel like it might be easier or harder?
Oh, man, you never know in this sport. I mean, I see myself catching him, and I see myself submitting him. You just never really know, but I prepared myself for 5 hard rounds, and you know, I'm ready for anything. And but in my mind, I feel like I'm going to finish him for sure.
Last one for Kat. So do you feel like the kind of fight you just had last fight against Leah McCourt would prepare you for the kind of wild style that Cyborg brings? It was a very fun back and forth fight.
I wouldn't say I was fighting at my best capabilities on that last fight. So no, I don't think that's very indicative of this fight at all. I don't think the training was different, the game plan, the preparation, everything is different, completely different athlete.
Scott, I feel like I have to address the elephant in the room, which is this is Bellator 300. Is there going to be a Bellator 400? We know there's a 301. Is there going to be a 302? Can we get an update on what's going on? Because you know how these MMA media people get.
Yeah, listen,
in their little sewing circles,
I know
right?
exactly what you're talking about, but I think that, this press conference, we're here to talk about these amazing athletes at 300. And then at the post-fight press conference, I'll answer anything you want. But to me right now, everything I've heard is that, there's dialogue ongoing, but, it's still an ongoing situation. So the situation from last month till now really hasn't changed that much. So I don't have a lot to say, but that's kind of where it's at right now.
Yeah, and you knew I had to ask, though. I got to ask.
I knew you had to ask, of course. That's all good.
Yeah, we on? Okay. Hey, thanks. First off, I want to say thanks to all you guys. You're amazing athletes and giving us something to look at and drool over. So appreciate y'all putting y'all bodies on the line to give us entertainment. I'm with Ringside with Ray and Prince, and this is for you, Liz, and Florida, you can come after. But Liz, with y'all knowing each other and y'all training together, I know that you can know each other's secret moves and fight patterns. Do you have a different approach here? Do you have anything super secret things in your bag for this?
Yeah, I definitely say that there's cautionary measures that have to be considered when going into this. But the benefit that we have is being former teammates. I think if we were still actively training together, yeah, you'd have to make training sessions different. You'd have to pull out all the different stops and really try and create a different opponent because they memorize who you are. It's just the nature of the sport and training with somebody. But thankfully for the past few years, we haven't been training together. So it's really about studying the differences that we've seen, improvements in the game, and both of us always work to improve. So we have the benefit of showing up Saturday night with new people in front of each other to show new games that we have on the line and impress everybody with.
Thank you. Florida?
I think that, we really haven't trained with each other for maybe 2 years or more. And I feel like Liz's game has really changed a lot. Her style changed ever since making the switch over to Coach Chuck them. So there's really, if anything, I know her physical power. That's something that's never going to leave her. And so I know that side of her. But yeah, as far as what she does in fights, she's constantly improving and changing, so you'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, can't wait. Next question is for Kat. So since you knowing that Cyborg, big name, and you saw the outcome of her fight with Nunes, Are you looking at capitalizing on that and making a repeat, or do you have something else, or do you have a different approach? Do you see any holes in her game where you could capitalize?
Yeah, I mean, I see holes in the game for sure, but every fight is different. Like, I'm not trying to look in the past and act like that's the same fighter I was or that's the same fighter she was or anything. You know, it's staying present, moving forward, getting ready for what's current, and, you know, preparing, planning, getting all of that done.
All right, thanks, Kat. I have one more.
Here,
This was for Premise. Brent, man. So I know this fight is going to be great between you guys. You're both are great grapplers and top of your game there, and have some striking abilities too. So I wanted to ask you, do you see some holes where you did kind of answer this earlier, but I want you to kind of clarify on your finish. Do you really see like a knockout or a submission?
Man, I see both of them. You know, I feel like I could definitely catch him on the feet, and I've been you know, sparring really hard and catching and dropping training partners, and at the same time I've been, you know, submitting them too. So I feel really well in both areas, and I really feel in my heart that I can definitely finish him, and I will on Saturday.
Nice. And Usman, I know you're top of the game, and the target is on your back, and you're ready in all areas, but I know you're looking to fulfill this. So you're going to look to capitalize on some of holes in Brent's game, or are you just going to stay on top and do your thing?
Of course, I will do my things, but I challenge this guy to take me down. You know, we'll see. I see his wrestling, but Dagestan wrestling is different, and I'm gonna show you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, here. This is for Scott. I know a lot of people from Tijuana are coming to support these great fighters. And what do you expect from the Latino audience, and if it's possible to take Bellator to Mexico?
You know, I think that Latin America is definitely a territory that is important to us. We have a great presence in Brazil, and I think that we just landed something in Mexico and Central America. So you know, it's an ongoing process. I mean, the world is so big; there's only so much we could do. But it's definitely on the roadmap. When we put up a roadmap as to what territories we want to start moving into, start penetrating, and honestly, Mexico is definitely one that we definitely want to go in the near future. Maybe, you know, it could be another year, it might be another, you know, 6 months. But I've been following some of the other leagues that, you know, cater to, you know, like Combatis, and see what they're doing, and they have some good fighters over there, and you know, that it's growing. I can feel like it's growing. You know, for such a long time, Mexico has been a boxing, you know, just, you know, boxing has been the sport, and I love boxing too. But you know, there's room for MMA in Mexico as well.
Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you. Was there a question back there?
I got some for Scott, Usman.
It's a lot of questions. Can we have one? Huh? All right, buddy, let's have it.
Usman, well, when it comes to your cousin and your brother, they both have nicknames. Do you feel like you deserve to have a nickname after winning this fight?
We'll see if I'm gonna finish this guy. I think I proud to be finisher.
Finisher.
Scott, I know you're not putting on the most expected MMA fight coming up next year. Do you have a choice between Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk coming up? If that fight ever develops?
Listen, I tell you what, I think put your money on Zuckerberg. You heard it here.
Oh, we're gonna reset the stage, guys. Before you go, real fast, quick housekeeping. Tickets still at Bellator.com. Tickets at Access TV. If anybody finds out where Lee Malay and Zingano are going to dinner, can you guys let me know so I can avoid it? Because that's going to be one awkward meal. See you guys all Saturday, 10 o'clock Eastern, only on Showtime.
All right, everybody, we're going to do the face-offs now. We'll have each fighter face off, and then we'll do a group shot with all 6 fighters and Scott Coker. First up, Liz Carmouche and Alimale McFarland. All right. Chris Cyborg and Kat Zingano. Usman Nurmagomedov and Brent Primus. All right, we'll have you guys stay up here, and we'll have the rest of the athletes come up. Group shot. Awesome. So we will have the athletes stick around for a few one-on-one interviews. The red corner fighters will be up on the main stage. Blue corner fighters will be in the back at the alternate step and repeat banner. Probably do about 15 to 20 minutes